Okay, Tuesday here, Longshore McKnight. Glad you were with us. Thanks so much. Greatly appreciate it as we roll on into February. A lot of conversation today, and boy, a lot of reaction from some of the conversation we had yesterday, Barry McKnight.
Love the title. You know, it's episode 361, which is entitled, I always thought the song was Luther Played the Boogie, but the Boogie-Woogie is in the lyrics and everything.
Yeah.
And a little education for some of you guys out there. Plainsman Preston, what's this boogie tune? This is country music. I mean, I've always been a country music guy. Fun fact, Andy Burcham and I hosted a country music morning show on the Kicker in Opelika, Alabama for 7 years.
I've heard some of that.
So I know my country music. That's that's a Johnny Cash tune.
Do you like country when it was country? Like, you know,
Yes.
Barbara Mandrell sang country when country was cool? Or some of this crap they're playing now. I mean, my kids, I'm thinking, what is this stuff?
Like
rap, country rap is terrible.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. It's a sellout. Give me the old stuff, give me Patsy Cline, give me Johnny Cash, give me Hank Williams and all that stuff. And I'm even going up to when, I did the morning show, and we had Clint Black and you had Garth and, you had, what were some of the other ones that I like? Rodney Crowell, those guys. Luther Played the Boogie was from Johnny Cash and the Tennessee 2. Luther was Luther Perkins, who was the Cash's guitarist and everything. It is good stuff. I don't know where he gets these from, but that's a good one.
That's a good one.
There's a lot going on this week. We talked about it a fair bit yesterday, although I do take a little pride, John, in us starting the Monday show and going through the entire Monday show and never mentioning the Super Bowl.
Or Cam Newton. Think about it. We didn't mention Cam Newton yesterday.
What in the world? We went 2 hours. Why? We didn't have a power outage or anything. We didn't.
Speaking of that, I don't think there was some obscure subject we were talking about, and somehow it came back to Auburn. I don't think that happened yesterday either.
Was there not a Tennessee tennis player that somebody could bring up, or a laptop, or oh my gosh, something about where we could talk about the gross national product of the Sudan, and John says Sudan ends in N. So does Auburn. And speaking of Auburn,
I can tell you about a gross national product. It's more than 180 grand. I can tell you that.
Well, so we didn't do all that yesterday, and the Super Bowl is on Sunday. I think I read that it's the 10th time that there has been a Super Bowl rematch. I think that's right, or something along those lines.
These two teams had played in the Super Bowl before. I mean, I'm thinking.
Don't you remember the biggest brain dead play in the history of the Super Bowl? Seahawks Patriots. Russell Wilson was quarterback in the Seahawks. They were about to win that thing. And they were on the Patriots were leading. The Seahawks had second and goal or first and goal from the 3 or from the 2.
Yeah.
Late in the game.
Okay.
And they had Marshawn Lynch in the backfield. And Pete Carroll decides, hey, now would be a great time to throw a pass over the middle in the middle of the field.
Oh, kind of like Mike Dubose in the Iron Bowl?
Yeah, except Ed Sissom wasn't playing.
Oh.
And he said that seems to be the thing to do. And they throw the interception. To the guy, what's the guy? Y'all help me with this. The guy, he went to school at West Alabama. He's an Alabama native that made the interception. And everybody in the stadium was like, what in God's green earth were you thinking right there, Pete Carroll? And so they got the interception. I'm going to have to look that up because that bugs me. Yeah. And the Patriots ended up winning. And the Super Bowl and the Seahawks, give it to Marshawn. Give it Oh, and so anyway, this is a rematch of there. This was back in Malcolm Butler was the guy's name who made the interception in the end zone. That was 2015, which was 5 years
after Cam Newton played at Auburn.
National championship. See, that's the thing. That's the little Freudian thing for John. It wasn't, and I was leading towards that, and John knows that. It was 5 years before. Was not, to John blurting it out, it was not Cam Newton played for Auburn. Auburn won the national championship that year. John doesn't categorize it that way. The Aubs won the national championship. John categorizes it as that's when Cam Newton played at all.
You know, speaking of, and a couple things here. I can't even tell you who played in the Final Four last March. So I certainly can't remember who played in the Super Bowl in 2015.
That was
And speaking of national championship games, I was reading a story about Gus Malzahn's retirement. I had forgotten Auburn was up 21-3 in that game against Florida State for the national championship. And how can I put this? Let it slip away. That's a nice way to put it. I did not remember that. They were up 21-3 in the national championship game.
I remember that because I was there.
Oh,
I was at that game. I was covering it, and
Total Sports Travel hooked you up with that.
Oh, it was great. It was great. And you can, and 21-3. Trey Mason was running wild in that game.
Yeah, he was
running crazy in that game. That was 2013, and 21-3. And late in the game, guy had a long play for Florida State, got it in. They threw a touchdown to Kelvin Benjamin. Of course, it was Jameis Winston who threw it. Kelvin Benjamin in the end zone, and Florida State ends up winning it, and Jimbo ends up making $93 million somewhere else.
Was there some type of interference on that? No, that was another Florida State Auburn game. That was in the Superdome.
Yeah, I was there at that one too in 1988. People say it was Dion that interfered with Freddie Wagan in the end zone. It was actually Dedrick Dodge, and it was interference. There was no question. I was about 20 yards away from that play then. But that is probably our Auburn talk for the day.
Oh, I'm telling you that that national championship year, Chris Davis made the cover of Sports Illustrated twice that year. Once for the kick six and once getting beat for that winning touchdown by Florida State. Hey, thank you, River Region Straw VIP text line.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah,
right.
I'd forgotten about
you guys.
You're right.
I never have been able. I never have done it. I've never have been able to do it, to give John's peeps on his chat line their full credit. It's like Johnny Carson's writers. You know, everybody says, how in the world did Johnny Carson do a monologue every night? Well, he had writers and everything. Same thing with Jack Benny and all the great ones. Yeah. John's got his people. If there was, painful loss for Auburn in the national championship game, up 18, how disappointing it was for the Auburn fans. And I know that John has got a phalanx of people in the background saying, hey, yeah, don't forget this, John. This is what made it more painful. You guys are always there.
I tell you, they're top notch. They're good.
Hey, and John, don't forget what else the Aubs did. Yeah. It's like mission control on a moon flight for NASA. All right, ready? So all systems go. Systems go in propulsion.
Barry, I probably should throw a little appreciation party for these guys. Have some wings and some, chicken fingers and some Bud Lights and
with all those guys, it needs to be at the Ed Teague Arena, for gosh sakes. I mean, there's
my Auburn friends. I'll invite them there.
So, but we haven't brought this up.
Okay, what?
Tonight is the Pro Bowl.
Oh, I'm going to miss that.
Yeah, tonight is the Pro Bowl. And there's several NFL things that we can bring up. The Pro Bowl is tonight. Nobody cares. It's not a real game. It never has been a real game. They're kind of attaching it to the to the NFL stuff that's going on.
Got to be NFL Network. No other network's going to show that.
It's ESPN.
No way.
It's and they've tweaked it again and again. It's going to be 7:00 tonight. ESPN, AFC, and NFC will face off in a flag football game on a temporary field built inside a convention center.
No, come on.
It's like having the SEC football championship game at the Garrett Coliseum.
Barry, I think I'd rather watch Sunday night's Grammy Awards than no, I wouldn't. I think I'd rather watch this. Yeah.
What they're doing is, this week is the week that the NFL has all of their conventions, all the media days for the Super Bowl players, all of its stuff. Roger Goodell was up yesterday, the commissioner. He had to talk a lot about Jeffrey Epstein and one of his owners and their association. And so what they're trying to do is attach the Pro Bowl to all that Super Bowl stuff at this convention center. So it's like, you have something going on at the Renaissance. And hey, let's get one of those rooms and let's put some floor mats down and have a football game. It's bogus, right? I mean, it's a dumb thing. And it's tonight. It's struggling. I don't know that they're going to keep doing that. So many people are just saying, I'll pass. Drake May, no. Who's the guy? Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Well, the Jets turned it down, said he's got to focus on off-season, training and all that. Number one, everybody's turning it down. Nobody wants to play. And number two, Justin Fields got an invitation to the Pro Bowl?
Shedeur Sanders. I mean, you kidding me?
I'd rather see Sally Field.
Yeah. No, that Colonel Sanders. You kidding me? I don't want to see that.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
So, I'll probably, probably to it. Not going to be watching that one. I tell you what I have picked up on, Barry, the last couple of nights. This series on AMC entitled The Rise of the 49ers. It's a multi-part series. It's really good. Bill Walsh and Joe Montana and Steve Young and all those guys, all those greats, Jerry Rice, that built that team into the multiple-time Super Bowl champion, the highs and the lows. It's been interesting to watch. I've really enjoyed it. And I tell you that the spirited rivalry between Joe Montana and Steve Young, very interesting. Very interesting about how he bided his time.
It is reminiscent of other great quarterback rooms in history.
I thought the same thing, yeah.
Turk, Longshore, Montana, Young, I could see parallels to all of that.
Turk didn't wear number 16, but Young wore number 8, so I see where you're working there.
The difference is that Young did bide his time, did wait his turn, and his turn actually came.
He did,
which was the key in that Longshore Turk quarterback room. Longshore waited his turn, and he ended up miscounting, and he ended up graduating. So
only had 3 years. I think Young had felt like 10. I sat there and watched that. I thought, how long did they keep that guy on the payroll? I cannot believe Steve Young didn't say, look, y'all got to trade me. I got to play. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Ended up being in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And it's like 4 years where he's sitting there cooling his heels until they traded Montana to the Chiefs. And, Steve Young played for the LA Express in the USFL. He played for the Bucks for a little while. Yeah. And, that's
left-handed.
Yeah.
He was a good running quarterback too.
He was, oh my gosh, he was a great running quarterback.
Yeah.
He was held in. I hope that they treat that, the NFL, the thing about the 49ers, that story would not be anything. They better have given ample treatment to my guy, Dwight Clark, and his touchdown pass catch in the baseline of the end zone against the Cowboys. Vin Scully called that in the NFC Championship game. That needs to be the starting point.
You know,
of
they
it all.
showed a little bit of it, and Dwight had a very attractive wife. They showed a little of that.
This is
as
what
well.
John's paying attention to.
Yeah.
You know, I thought it was really good, that game they had against the Giants where they went for – John's like, man, his wife is a looker.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's the incisive, in-depth media commentary that we all are looking for.
It's centered mostly around clips of Walsh, Montana, Young, Jerry Rice, a little of John Taylor, Keenan Turner. Remember him, a defensive player? He's in there a lot. And who was the defensive back from Southern Cal, number 42?
Ronnie Lott.
Yes, he's in there a lot.
He would knock your teeth out.
And there's one of the linemen. He does some studio work now.
Randy Cross?
Yes, Randy Cross. He's the
John actually watched it, and I'm here supplying the names to him. Yeah. But all of that, Bill Walsh, yeah. Joe Montana, sure. Steve Young, whatever. Every bit of that really should be centered around Jerry Rice. Because he may have been, look at his numbers. When he retired, he had like twice as many touchdown catches as anybody else. He made Montana. He made Steve Young. He made Bill Walsh. All that 49ers jazz about, the Montana 49ers. No, those were the Rice 49ers.
You know, it's interesting. His rookie year, he dropped a lot of passes, and they showed a lot of the passes that he dropped, getting accustomed to the NFL.
Well, from Mississippi Valley State.
John Taylor was another great receiver.
Big touchdown catch in the Super Bowl for the against the Bengals.
That's the only pass he caught in that game.
That's exactly right. It's like Ryan Williams. The Steve Young made the Hall of Fame, waited his turn, bided his time. The San Francisco 49er fans love him, unlike another quarterback who bided his time at another school and finally got a starting role and threw for like 3,000 yards, and the fans are like, let him go. I say good.
Yeah, he's done. Get out of here. All right, when we come back, has somebody picked up on my vibe? I kind of get the sense that they have. I'll explain when we get back. And what about our man Dennis Mitchell at 4:48 this morning with the first chat? Man, Dennis. Woo!
Dennis texted me last night after the coaches show. Does he sleep? Dennis says, hi, Barry. Let John know. Okay, so John, let John know another pro wrestler has passed away. All right. John, another pro wrestler has passed away. James Alt, a.k.a. Frankie Kane, a.k.a. the Great Mephisto. He was 93. He made it for a while. Frankie Kane was from Columbus, Ohio. He was a Golden Gloves boxer, friends with Angelo Poffo, Randy Savage, and Randy Poffo's dad. Yeah, Randy Macho Man Savage. Nice. Barry, did you watch him wrestle in person in Florida? I did not.
What? Come on.
And also this is poignant. He says, John, how are you holding up with the passing of Philip Marshall? Frankie Kane was living in Fort Walton Beach. John, this morning, Tuesdays were always a special morning in John and Philip's relationship. And I'm not being flippant or disrespectful. Tuesdays were a big day.
They were.
For John.
There weren't any fluff pieces on Tuesday. There wasn't some piece about a guy that played at Auburn 40 years ago. It was relevant, current day, nuts and bolts material.
Yes.
On Tuesdays.
We miss him. And we do. He was a big part of the program. Lots more to come in just a moment. We're underway on our first hour of our live Tuesday show. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Divers Ford of Montgomery is ranked top 100 in the nation for 8 consecutive years. With deals like these, it's no wonder why. F-150s for 16 grand off, or Lariat Pro by Force for under 56 grand. And Super Duties, 12 grand off.
Divers Ford, where price sells Fords.
Divers Ford of Montgomery is ranked top 100 in the nation for 8 consecutive years. With deals like these, it's no wonder why. Broncos for 12 grand off. Bronco Sports for 10 grand off. And Explorers for under 31 grand or 10 grand off.
Divers Ford, where price sells Fords.
Hey, bro, weirdest thing is happening at the game. This guy sitting next to me says, "You're our good luck charm." Every time I crack a Bud Light, we score a touchdown. Now his entire family wants to buy me Bud Lights. I think I'm some kind of a football prophet. Talk soon. The team needs me.
Anything for Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Stock up today. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
The Montgomery Regional Airport is getting better the more you use it. MGM offers multiple nonstop daily flights to Atlanta, Charlotte, Dallas-Fort Worth, and Washington's Reagan National Airport via Delta and American Airlines. And beginning this April, MGM will offer daily nonstop flights to Houston's Intercontinental Airport via United Airlines. All of these cities offer easy connections to destinations all over the country and all over the world. Make travel more cost-effective and less stressful when you utilize your Montgomery Regional Airport. MGM, you can get there from here. All righty, welcome back in, everybody. About 20 minutes past the hour on this Tuesday. In about 10 minutes, Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com, will join us his regular Tuesday visit. Top of hour 2, Travis Ryer on YouTube. Talking Tide will join us as well. Barry, caught a little reaction to a topic we discussed yesterday. Buy or sell. Where have you got your Alabama stock? Where do you have your Auburn stock in your SEC college football portfolio? I'm thinking with Alabama, you got to unload some of it. You're not buying that right now. Way too much uncertainty, an unstable environment. I think that's a term that stockbrokers use. Auburn, on the other hand, I think you can get it at a really good price now. And I think the upside is very positive. And I see our friends at AL.com think so too. Michael Casagrande, Alex Golish has me sold on Auburn resurrection. Must have been listening to the show yesterday.
Is he being facetious?
No, he seems like he's pretty spot on with it. And he lists some reasons why he believes this is going to happen. I mean, they can't go anywhere but up. But I mean, that's kind of a cheap shot. I mean,
not that ever slowed you down, but I gotta subscribe. I don't have a subscription, so.
Do you have to subscribe to that? Do I subscribe to it? Wait a minute.
I don't. Did somebody forward it to you?
No, I'm looking at it. I guess I do. Okay. It's amazing how many subscriptions that my children have in my name. It's amazing. Wait a minute. Do I sign up for this? Wait a minute. $2.99 here, $4.99 here. It's unbelievable. But some praise for Auburn and Golish and what Golish has done in the first. Everybody was freaking out, running around with the hair on fire when Cam Coleman and all these other players were jumping ship. I know the emoji of the ship and the rat. I mean, I got a ton of those.
A ton. John was saying, how do you where do you find the rat? Where's that? Is that? Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Show me where the ship is.
Yeah.
I gotta send this to Barry.
So, and then brought some transfers in and, a lot of former South Florida players and coaches and things of that nature. And I don't know, there seems to be a lot of positive vibes about this Auburn football team.
And I'm hearing it. I'm feeling it a little bit. I got a lot of friends over at Auburn. I lived there for such a long time and covered it and broadcast it and all that stuff, but I haven't been, day to day with it for a long time. So I'm not going to pretend to you that I know a ton about Byron Brown. I've seen him play. I've seen his numbers. I know what people are saying about him, but I think he's an upgrade from either of the two previous transfer quarterbacks. But, I know a couple of the guys on the team. Tay Meadows, one of the running backs, transferred in from Troy. Solid, great kid and everything. He's there to provide depth, which is one of the things they needed, was some depth. They needed a lot of things. So I get it. It's a start. And I remember the lightning in a bottle when Bowden got to Auburn in 93 and immediately, boom, 11-0 and won his first 20 games. I still don't know how that happened. And I was there. That was a long time ago, kids. And I'm sitting there looking back thinking, how in the devil did Auburn pull that off? They were on probation, so nobody got a chance to watch them unless you bought a ticket to the game. And James Bostic and all those guys. But that doesn't happen to, hardly at all. Strike that. It never happens. I don't get that sense that Byron Brown's going to take Auburn and lead them to the promised land or anything. But the first thing that I hear from Auburn people, and I haven't talked, maybe 10, John, maybe 12, about the year's team, is not, boy, this Byron Brown is going to take us to the mountaintop, and I can see the Crystal Trophy and all that. The Auburn fans are thinking, with Byron Brown and Jeremiah Cobb and hopefully a better offensive line and some depth, this may be the year we beat Alabama.
Oh, whoa, wow.
I'm just saying. That's the first thing I've heard, not from everybody, but from the majority, I would say, that I've talked to, and I've talked to a few lately, is not that, man, this is the year we win the national championship. It's like a stepping stone. Auburn, Alabama is a stepping stone. Let's beat the Tide and then let's start talking about, crazy stuff.
I'm sad to hear that.
Alabama's won 6 in a row. They've got the thumb and all that.
How many has Georgia won? Allegedly the South's oldest continuous football rivalry.
How many of the people in the Longshore Mission control room are sitting here texting him stuff about, hey, don't forget Georgia's beating off? No, it's all about Alabama.
Well, I've been saying that for over 30 years. I never hear Auburn talk about Oregon and that national championship game out in the desert or some conference title games in Atlanta or wherever. It's just, man, those Iron Bowls. Oh, unbelievable.
Wait a minute. By the way, Georgia's won 9 in a row.
9 in a row.
Auburn hasn't won since the regular season in 2017 and then later on in the SEC.
Winning your state championship, there's much bigger and better things out there. I've been preaching that for years and years and years. Don't worry about beating your in-state rival because that in-state rival actually lost to you one time and went on to win the national championship. So don't focus just on beating your in-state rival. It's not that big of a deal. There's much bigger prizes down the road. Don't fixate on, we got to beat Alabama. No, you don't.
Does anybody see a black pot, a kettle, anything? What has helped drive this show, and admit it, Bama fans, is John taking a little shot about Cam Newton and a little shot about, the 2013 Auburn loss in the title game and all that. But on the other side, don't fixate on that. No, come on. It's a little bit of, I don't know, an uneven playing field.
I'm pretty consistent, though. I will say
no doubt about that. He is relentless.
I'll tell you, some people might not like it, but I'm doing it for the betterment of Auburn. Don't worry about beating your in-state rival. Don't fixate on that. There's much bigger prizes that they're down the road. SEC titles, national titles. Beating your in-state rival. So what? Big deal.
Let's take a break and let's get Brian Matthews before he gets physically ill listening to this. After the break,
he's nodding his head. He's going, Longshore, you're right. Alabama, they're no big deal. To heck with them.
It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com. The Destin Connection Seafood Market at 3750 Norman Bridge Road in Montgomery has the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of America. I'm talking red snapper and grouper, all sizes of Gulf shrimp, jumbo lump crab meat and crab claws, Louisiana Bay oysters, and New Bedford scallops. They are a full-service seafood market and kitchen serving po' boys, dinners, and sandwiches. You know, many well-known restaurants in the river region purchase their seafood from the Destin Connection because they know it's the absolute best. Call ahead and your order will be ready for pickup. The Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call 288-4272. That's 288-4272. All righty, here we go, everybody. At the bottom of the hour, about 29 minutes to the top, our man Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com, joining us as he does each and every Tuesday during this slot. Hey, Brian, hope you're doing well. I see, Brian.
Yeah.
85 South at Montgomery.
Brian, we may have to.
There he is. I see him.
Yeah. We're going to have to. We're going to have to wait on Brian. He is traveling. Not got a good signal. Not able to hear him. Going to wait for just a little bit.
Can you guys hear me now?
Hey,
yeah, we got you. We got you. Thank you for joining us, Brian.
Yeah, of course. I'm on the road. Unfortunately, I am going to Decatur for Joe Marshall's service today. Longtime Auburn beat writer and journalist in the state of Alabama, just a true legend in this in the journalism world.
Yeah, I thought that you might be because the memorial is also going to be held. The visitation and memorial going to be held up in Decatur. You guys are, obviously he wrote and he contributed to another website covering Auburn. You guys are a pretty close knit fraternity. It occurs to me, Brian.
We are. I know Philip for 25 years, and we did work together for years. So certainly known him for a long time. You know what? He started taking notes for interviews and working on a typewriter. Interviewing Barry Ryan, Pat. I don't know. Maybe Shug. I never asked him about that. Back in the day, of course, his father, Benny Marshall, certainly covered Shug and those guys. And then he seamlessly transitioned to the digital age, and he was great doing both. And I think that's because he was a tremendous writer and storyteller, and very determined to have a great work ethic, and was great at connecting with people on a personal level.
Brian, we've talked about it many a time on this program, kind of showing my age, but I first started reading Philip when I was in junior high school. He was with the Montgomery Advertiser, and I had to pick the paper up every day that I knew Philip had a column because I wanted to see what he was writing about.
Yep. We all still remember the days of going to the newspaper and reading about the sport event the next day, and if your team did well, you wanted to go get as many papers and read as much as you could about it, right?
Yeah.
Those things happen. And Philip was a big part of that, and certainly transitioned incredibly well in the digital age too.
Well, let me ask you about this as we change gears just a little bit. Auburn basketball, the Tennessee game. Tennessee obviously ends up winning it by, I think it was 8 or 9. Tennessee really, really physical. I'm not sure I've seen a team more physical than that. What's your read into that, and what's important for Auburn basketball before, the big game this weekend?
Yeah, so I thought what Steven said about that game that Tennessee did to Auburn, what Auburn's been doing to other teams during its 4-game winning streak, was exactly right. And I think that's going to happen. I think the SEC is well matched. I don't think there's a lot of great teams, a bunch of good teams, and I think Auburn falls in that category. And I just think on this night at Tennessee, they outplayed Auburn, and that's not necessarily surprising. Tennessee outplays a lot of teams at Thompson Bowling. So I think Auburn was 9-51 going in that game, if I'm not mistaken, in Knoxville. So I'm not surprised by it. I think when you got basically a 7-man rotation and your identity is playing your tail off and being physical and having all the energy and effort, you're going to wear down a little bit. So I think the week off came at a really good time for Auburn, and I think they'll be really geared up and excited to host Alabama Saturday.
Yeah, Brian, we probably said this years ago multiple times, but to me, this feels like a season where you just got to get to March. And if you get into March in a good spot and you're playing well in March, some things could happen. I'm with you. I think this league has got a lot of minefields out there, and you're going to lose a few. It's just too competitive. I think there's a lot of evenly matched teams, and I think you got to be really playing well and peaking in March.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at what Auburn did at Florida, right? They caught them off guard a little bit, took it to them, out-physicaled them. And then you go, I guess a week later, maybe, if I'm not mistaken, Alabama goes down there and gets their, tails handed to them.
Yeah.
And that's the way it's going to be in this conference, right? You can't, that doesn't mean Auburn's going to, beat Alabama by 30 or whatever. If you add the 2 scores together, I don't know what it'd be, but that's just not how it works. It's what team is going to go in there and listen to the scouting report and execute that, and what team is going to go in there and be the most physical and have the most energy and effort.
Brian, it seems like ever since Alex Golesh got to Auburn as the head football coach, it's been build the roster, transfer portal, and lately high school recruiting, get that going on. Pretty soon, within the next 5 weeks or so, they start, spring practice and getting all that ready. So they've had to kind of shift a little bit. There's actually, they're actually talking football and scheming and all that right now, just trying to get, now that the roster looks like it's fleshed out, now they got to figure out what to do with it right before the mid-March.
Yeah, and I believe we're in a dead period. So no off-campus, on-campus type recruiting stuff going on this month. So that'll give those guys a bit of a rest. But as you said, that now they got to prepare for spring practice. This is a spring practice like I've never really seen before. I think Auburn's going to have over 90 quote-unquote scholarship. I'm not sure that's a word to use anymore, but I still do. Players, which is about twice as many as you'd have on some spring rosters. Because back in the day, you just have whoever was left on your team, and most players didn't, join your team until May. Most newcomers didn't have the transfer portal either. So it's really going to be a very competitive spring, I believe, for Auburn, and a lot of position battles, especially at receiver, on the offensive and defensive line. You got so many newcomers battling for positions. It's almost entirely new rooms. I think we know who the quarterback's going to be, but that's entirely new room also. So it should be a very newsworthy, interesting spring when it gets underway.
What is the overall vibe, Brian? Because we talked about it earlier today. I mean, stuff I'm hearing, reading, seeing about, it just seems like the vibe is a lot more positive. I know everybody kind of freaked out when Cam Coleman and all these other guys were hitting the portal, but since that settled down and Golesh has kind of brought his guys in, there seems to be a little better feeling about the football program overall.
I think that's right. I think people have watched what happened in the transfer portal and feel like Auburn, in some respects, has made themselves a better team. I think offensively, bringing in Byron Brown, bringing him a lot of his teammates on offense is going to be a plug-and-play type situation. Now, sure, they're all going to have to just play in the SEC for now 9 games, right? But still, that's going to give them the opportunity to really hit the ground running right away and not have to teach a bunch of guys the offense right away. Or those guys could be working on that on their own right now, and they've got a bunch of leaders. I know Byram has already, stepped up and been taking on that role. So I think that's really good offensively, and I think most people expect, Auburn to be pretty good defensively as long as DJ Durkin's there. And even though they lost some key pieces, Keldrick Falk, both cornerbacks, Kieron Crawford, the edge, I think there's a feeling that they can still be a pretty good unit on that side of the ball.
Well, Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com. Subscribe, like he said. There's plenty of news coming up. Dead period and leading into spring ball. Find out more at auburnsports.com. Brian, I know you're mindful. It's a somber day. We do appreciate a few minutes with you very, very much. Thanks.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Y'all take care, and I'll talk to you next week.
Yep, sounds great. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that. Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com, joining us today. Looked like he was keeping it under the speed limit. He looked like he was, under 65. Yep. So, yeah.
And, I've known Brian for a long time before even, he was on with us. I used to live in Montgomery, used to listen to the show and everything. And so I know what he looks like. I know his family and all that. So, yeah, I can understand Chris. That's the first time I've seen him without the cap.
Hey, yeah.
And Plainsman Preston says he looks like a banker. Ty says, or a lawyer. That's Brian can
clean up.
He can clean up pretty good. I like the tie too. That's a good.
Nice. I noticed that tie as well, light blue. That was a nice tie. I like that.
Yes, exactly.
So we appreciate that for with Brian as he is making his way to Philip Marshall's memorial service today up in Decatur. Was Philip from Decatur? I know he worked for the Huntsville Times at one time.
I know he was born in Birmingham. I don't know what the Decatur thing is, but there's a visitation in Decatur beginning at noon today, and then the memorial at 2 up there. I don't know what the connection with Decatur is, but I do like John and like everybody remembers, he did spend a little time. More than a little time at Anniston working there. So that's Brian Matthews. Good to have him, mindful of, the day ahead of him and the fact that he is traveling, but we're appreciative of a few minutes. We'll get some time in just a little while with Travis Ryer from Ryer on YouTube. Bob from Pike Road. This is like catnip.
Yeah, it is.
This is like some people tell me about the crack pipe or something. Bob says, Barry, it is well known, Bama, all caps, Bama is totally fixated and consumed with winning the SEC and national titles, while Lee County, that's what Bob calls Auburn. I don't know why it gives John a little giggle.
Yeah.
Lee County. That's creative. Lee County has always been consumed with beating Big Brother Bama. It is what it is. RTR! Exclamation point. And did you hear the first segment of this program where, Auburn this and Auburn that, and Auburn lost in the championship game? I forgot about that with Malzahn it can't go both ways, right? Whenever.
Well, it's not. I mean, I just never hear people talk about, hey, that Oregon game. Wow, it was what a game. It's like,
I hear it.
That kick 6. Or can you believe Saban attempted a field goal? Or, man, remember that day that we beat Bama in Tuscaloosa? No, get over that. I mean, there's more. And there again, I've been preaching this from the mountaintop for a long, long time to my Auburn brethren out there. Not trying to be, smart alecky or mean. I'm really doing it for the betterment of Auburn people. Don't fixate on beating Bama. There's more out there than them. And I'm not one of them, so I don't know, but I'm just telling it from my side of the street. Don't worry about them. Don't worry about them.
While I have a great deal of respect for John's ability to be able to say what he said in the last 2 minutes without giggling is beyond me, because there's no way that's serious. There's no way that is serious.
Couldn't be any more serious.
I agree with that. That doesn't mean it's serious. That doesn't mean that John has kind of an inability to be serious. I mean, when he giggles when Bob from Pike Road calls Auburn Lee County, laugh at anything.
I'm just a funny guy. I like to be amused, and I like a good chuckle. But that doesn't.
Hey, Lee County.
Feeling don't fixate on one. There again.
Right now.
How many times is Georgia? I mean, I hear about this Unbelievable rivalry, Auburn and Georgia. Because I never hear Georgia people talk about Auburn. It's always Auburn people talking about Georgia. But, I mean, you've lost what'd you say, 9 in a row? Well,
against Georgia, yes.
I mean, talk about beating Georgia. Don't worry about we got to beat Alabama because there again, it's been proven. You do not have to beat your in-state rival to win the national championship, which, last I checked, is the ultimate prize in college football, not beating your in-state rival.
If we had the research department for Longshore and McKnight that Longshore has at his fingertips on his text group, we would be able to go back in each one of our previous 360 shows and count the number of chats from Bob from Pike Road, and I would say it is at least even.
Now, wait a minute.
His commentary about Auburn/Lee County and his commentary about Alabama, at least even. Maybe it wouldn't surprise me. Maybe if it's even a little bit more, 55%, 45%,
maybe more
about
than that.
Auburn.
It's the same thing with Tighter and Cider, but it's two totally different things altogether.
It's two totally different things altogether.
It's two. I mean, look, I don't know how many times I got to preach this sermon, but I'll be happy to do it again.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to hear the word of truth from Reverend Longshore.
Maybe this will die down a little bit. I hope it does, quite honestly. But during that 17-year period of Nick Saban, and it was championship year this year and championship year that year, and, you know, another number one recruiting class and a boatload of 5 stars.
Look, Roberta, there he is, right at the middle of the field. See him behind Saban and Tom Rinaldi. No, right over there behind Tom. Yeah, there he is again.
Yeah.
That era. That's my point, though. So that's how this whole thing got. That's how this
Bama fan amused themselves. They were bored. They were winning championships.
They ain't bored no more.
Not only did they expect it, they just kind of woke up every day going, now, where's the national championship game this year? Well, when do I need to make my reservations? They were cocky, bored, overconfident, whatever you want to say. So how did they amuse themselves? A group of them got together. Multiple groups got together separately. Hey, let's gig the Albs. You know what? Let's just have a little fun with our little brothers over there. And what's Bob say? Lee County. So that's how they amuse themselves in the off season or sometimes during the season. Look at this.
John brought this up earlier. We have had over the years a great association with our friends at Total Sports Travel.
Yes.
Well, and we're proud of that. They're wonderful people, provide a great service. They're a terrific business, and I would recommend them to anybody in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
But I remember in the day, in their desire to serve the fans, whenever, you know, they would have a package available for the postseason where you could get in early, reserve some seats, and if they filled out a plane, they'd add another flight,
That's right.
And they'd say, the good thing is that if Bama doesn't make the national championship game, your money is refundable.
Yeah. Bama
fans were, that's a great deal and a wonderful company. Bama fans were offended. What do you mean won't make
that? They didn't even think about that.
Come on, wait a minute. I mean, we appreciate the offer, but you're not saying that there's a chance that Alabama won't make the national champion. No, we're just saying, we're just offering this.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like when you rent a car and they say, do you want accident insurance? No, I don't want accident insurance. No, heck no, I don't want that. My credit card covers that. You kidding me?
That's exactly right. But my whole thing began in this particular thing because Auburn fans, a new coach, again, high expectations. Yeah. Again, well, they didn't have high expectations for Harsin. They like the way things have started under Alex Golesh. Don't love it, but they like it. They kind of see it, quarterback and everything. But they are not expecting immediate national championship caliber. So set realistic goals. And my point was earlier, Auburn fans are thinking now that with the state of that program, beating Alabama is a realistic goal you can set. I think we might have a really good chance. This is our best chance in years of beating Alabama. Even those years in that 6-year period where it took some crazy things to happen for Alabama to win, that's what they're not thinking national championship. They're thinking baby steps.
Here's
and one
what
of the
I would
baby
have
steps
rather
is beating a 4-loss Alabama team.
Here's what I would have rather heard. I see where you're going with that. Baby steps, trying to move ourselves up the ladder. Don't even mention Alabama. Say, I think we got a chance to beat Georgia this year, a team you haven't beaten in 9 years. It's the Deep South's oldest continuous football rivalry, I'm told.
It's the oldest continuous rivalry in the Deep South.
It's just, there again, I don't hear Georgia people talk about it, but they've, had bigger prizes over the years than beating Auburn, I guess. So maybe it would have been nice and refreshing to hear the Auburn people go, maybe this is our year to beat Georgia. And if somebody goes, well, what about beating Alabama? Well, so what? Who cares about them? That's how you answer that question. It's like, Bama, who cares? I don't worry about them. We need to beat Georgia. That's our rival. That's Deep South's oldest continuous rivalry. Played them more than anybody. That's how you handle that. It's like Bama is not even there. Don't even mention them.
But on the other side, on the converse, on the flip side, look at those odds. Lee County this and Hayfields that and all that. It seems as though you have different levels of expectations for how these teams' fans should.
When Bama goes 7-5 and Auburn goes 9-3, that's when that stuff stops.
I see.
They'll be freaking out about what in the hell is going on in Tuscaloosa. You got to fire DeBoer. He stinks. Program's falling apart. That's when you'll want to be reading Tider Insider. Oh, look at these Bammers. Yeah. They're fighting amongst each other. Oh, they're going at it. They can't go at it. Oh, they're so mad. So that's when that's going to start happening.
Don't even. I've got to finish this show somehow. I'm going to be long.
And here what? And there again, Auburn fans, believe me, because I read it. They love the fact Bama got blown out and embarrassed against Indiana on national TV. They love that.
Oh, yeah.
And this Bediako deal.
Guilty.
Even Philip wrote about that. Some of his last pieces were about Charles Bediako, and he was ripping Alabama, the whole deal. What business is that of yours? But they love it. They eat it up.
The whole nation is against the Bediako thing. And if this was anybody else, if Auburn had done this, they'd have been on them like white on rice.
Well, there again, let's just wait till this hearing on Friday, and if it goes Bediako's way, I'm really looking forward to seeing if the rest of the nation is going to be jumping on these other schools and going, we're going after this guy. We're all over this guy. NBA, he's playing the NBA. So what?
But to say that it's just the Auburn people that are giving Alabama fans grief over the Bediako.
I don't know. I didn't say that. I just thought it was interesting that a guy that covers one particular school really had a lot to say about this particular subject.
Yes. Well, a lot of people. And I'm not one of these, by the way. Could Auburn beat Alabama this year? I think they could. I don't know much at all about Auburn. To be honest, I don't know really a whole lot about Alabama, who the quarterback's going to be, who the running back's going to be, who the offensive line's going to be. Look at it this way. Auburn could be much better this year under Alex Golesh than they were last year and still struggle. They've got to go. Look at this Auburn Sky. They've got to go to Tennessee. They've got to go to Georgia. They've got to go to Ole Miss, who played in the semifinals, and they got to go to Alabama this year.
LSU coming into Auburn, I believe.
That is a grind, people.
Don't forget about that Baylor game. In Atlanta. Can't forget about that one.
So,
I'm with you. That's a good point you brought. Auburn's schedule is brutal.
Brutal. So, that's kind of the perspective here is that, that's doable. Winning a national championship for Auburn, probably not doable.
Probably not.
Beating Georgia, probably not. Beating Alabama, I could see it happen. Let's see if we can do that. Then
based on what we've been talking about over the last 24 hours, but really last month or so. And there again, I'll pose the question again: how confident are Alabama football fans? There again, we used it as a stock. We kind of compared it to that. Are you buying Alabama stock today? Are you calling your broker and saying, load up on Bama? Well, the price is still pretty high. Yeah, it's going higher. Really? Are people doing that? I don't think they are. I think there's really a concern that we got to get through one more year of DeBoer and then really find a coach that can get us back to where we want. I think that's the mindset of a lot of Alabama people. This DeBoer, he's a nice guy, but he ain't winning a national championship in Tuscaloosa.
I'm not sure that coach exists. We need to just, hang in with DeBoer, give him one more chance, and then we'll find a coach that can.
Well, I mean, there's one in Bloomington, Indiana, but that might not be a fair comparison.
He's 64 years old, too.
Yeah.
And, might have to come up with somebody else a little bit later. And I'm just saying, you better love the one you're with, to quote Stephen Stills. So
I think you better be planning an exit strategy. Honey, how long have you been planning this divorce? Longer than you know.
Meanwhile, there's a car running outside with a moving van behind it, and boxes already loaded. Thought about it. So,
yeah. Hey, one quick thing. Our man Bill from Baltimore. He's obviously seen the rise of the 49ers series. In that game I was telling you about that John Taylor caught the touchdown pass. It was the only pass he caught in the game. They're playing the Bengals. Sam Weish, Boomer Esiason was the quarterback. The Bengals take a lead late in the game with like 3 minutes to go. San Francisco gets the ball at the 7-yard line.
That's one of the legends of Montana right there. I remember that really well. All this is factual.
He walks into the huddle. His teammates are thinking, oh, we're in a tight spot here. Walks into the huddle and he looks at his players. He goes, hey, look at that. There's John Candy over there on the sideline.
That's right. I forgot about it. I haven't seen the thing, but, Montana had that panache. He had that cachet. And he's like, I remember one time in a World Series, the story goes that might have been Sparky Anderson going out to talk to Goose Gossage or something like that in a famous at-bat against Kirk Gibson. He asked for the ball, rubs it up, talking to Goose, how they're going to pitch him. Goose is steamed and everything. And he said, man, check out that blonde over there over the third base dugout. And they're all looking over there. Just, kind of to cut the tension a little bit. Speaking of that from Bill from Baltimore, serious question, is this the dullest Super Bowl in a while? Hardly any panache, any cachet.
You want to know how it becomes more exciting, Bill? You put some coin on it. It gets real exciting then.
What is that, 4.5? Is that?
Yeah, we're going to take a deeper dive into that later in the week.
Yeah. So we'll take a break.
Because we don't want to get ahead of the Phantom's Daily Dog before the Super Bowl.
Yes, and before the Phantom's Daily Dog, it's Travis Ryer from Ryer on YouTube. He's coming up with Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
At Dixie Overhead Door, we specialize in top-quality garage door solutions for homes across Alabama and Georgia. In need of a garage door repair or a brand new garage door installation, our expert team delivers fast, reliable service with local expertise that you can trust, providing customized solutions and exceptional care every step of the way. Visit us today at DixieOverheadDoor.com and experience the Dixie difference.
Where's the beer guy? Bud Light here? You got a Bud Light? Bud Light? I'm here, Bud Light. Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light where? Bud Light here? Oh, Bud Light there. I missed that because of you. You did not miss that play because of me. Tough to stop talking this way? Yeah. It's actually kind of fun. Hey, I got your Bud Light. Oh, nice. Never mind. Anything for the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light. What I miss? I have no idea.
The Start Something New sales event is on at Stivers, Alabama's #1 CDJR dealer. Grand Cherokee's under 30 grand or up to 15 grand off. Wranglers 12 grand off and Gladiators 16 grand off. Only at Stivers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. The Start Something New sales event is on at Stivers, Alabama's #1 CDJR dealer. New Rams 19 grand off or 0% for 6 years. And heavy duties 12 grand off. Backed by Ram's 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Only at Stivers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram.
All righty, welcome back in, everybody. So glad you are with us here today. Getting close to the top of the hour, as Barry mentioned, Travis Ryer on YouTube, Talking Tide, scheduled to join us in a few minutes from his home. Looking forward to that. Yep, Super Bowl is coming up. I guess it kicks off about 5:30-ish. It seems like that's when they kick off. Super Bowl games, just get ready if you hadn't thought about it, are a lot longer than any other game. The halftime is about 30 minutes. They don't call a lot of penalties. You don't have to worry about penalties being called because they don't call a lot in the Super Bowl.
Although that's a prop bet, you can go. Yeah,
Yep.
they've got the Super Bowl halftime thing. Is it Bad Bunny?
I couldn't tell you who Bad Bunny. The only Bad Bunny I saw was a little overweight, chubby playmate in Playboy many, many decades ago. That's the only Bad Bunny I can think of.
Look, I know that back in the 80s, which was the peak of American civilization.
Yep.
Back in the 80s, you had Taco. You had the Thompson twins, and there were 3 of them. You had some dumb names.
Did Taco do One Night in Bangkok?
No, that was Murray Head. Taco did Putting on the Ritz.
Oh, Putting on the Ritz, yeah.
So, I mean, I get that. But should there not be some sort of a congressional resolution where you can turn down people's names? I'm sorry, that one's too stupid. You can't use that one. Is there nobody at the record company? There's no records. Is there nobody at the music company who says, man, I like you. It's all right. You're pretty energetic. But calling yourself Bad Bunny is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, I don't understand that either.
So
stupid name. And I'm sure they've got alternative halftime entertainment. I certainly will be turning to that. I mean, it's kind of like those Grammy Awards the other night. I certainly didn't watch any of it, but obviously Jesse Waters was talking about it last night on Fox News and showed some of the clips. And I'm thinking, do these people have a life? Do they really know the realities out there as they live in their gated communities and everything's wonderful and great? They don't have people coming through their neighborhoods like the rest of the United States does. I don't get it. Why do people listen and really, why do they have care one iota what a Hollywood star, a singer, or a professional athlete thinks? Why? Who cares? I've never understood that.
I don't get the Grammys. I think they've kind of lost their way. The Super Bowl is at 5:30. John's right. 5:30 Central. NBC.
NBC.
And that means Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth. Both clubs are 14-3.
Okay.
And Seattle is a favorite. Of course, it's going to be held in Santa Clara. John, you ever been there?
Actually, I have. Yeah, I have.
So,
has there ever been a Super Bowl when the weather was bad, when it rained? I know they have these games in indoor facilities up north.
I know there was an Outback Bowl when Auburn played one year.
I've always wondered about the NFL. This is their big spectacular, but man, if there's a deluge, if it's raining sideways,
I
wonder what the alternate plan is for that.
I thought it was dumb that they'd have the Super Bowl in Minneapolis and they'd had it in Detroit, and stuff like that. I'm thinking, how are you going to party in Detroit in February? So anyway, the Seahawks, as of right now, 4.5 point favorite. We'll get to that in just later on in the week when the event draws nigh.
I'm amazed, Barry. There again, I knew that these two teams had been in Super Bowls. I just didn't realize they faced off against one another.
That was the famous Malcolm Butler game when somebody says, Pete, dude, you've got Marshawn Lynch, beast mode right behind you. You're at the 2, and you're going to throw it over the middle?
I must have been on the wrong end of that game. And maybe that's why I forgot it. Yeah. Hey, our man Travis Ryer on YouTube, Talking Tide amongst many other platforms, joining us here this morning. Hey, Travis, how's it going?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Doing really well. We were talking about the rematch of 2015 in the Super Bowl, in which the Patriots hung on. Malcolm Butler from the University of West Alabama gets the most famous interception maybe in Super Bowl history. What was Pete Carroll? What are you doing, man? That was 11 years
Yeah.
ago, and I still have a single clue as to what he
Yeah.
was trying to accomplish.
We were all expecting beast mode right
Yeah.
there, weren't we? And maybe that was the thought process, but with just that little bit needed to gain, hard not to go with your guy down there in that situation.
Yeah.
Travis, I guess your thoughts about the Bediako experiment to this point.
3 games in.
Yeah, I mean, I would say from just a win-loss perspective, it hasn't been what you had hoped, especially since you knew what you were going to get from Tennessee and Florida, maybe specific to his area of help. But, against Florida, they just weren't good enough in any area. I thought he was actually one of the bright spots in Gainesville to go along with Aiden Holloway. Everybody else, it wasn't good at all. And give Florida a lot of credit. I mean, when Florida plays like that, it's easy to see them at least back in the Final Four. I still think Arizona is the best team I've seen this year, which ironically enough, Jaden Bradley runs that team previously of Alabama. I just think they're very, Arizona's just so complete. But yeah, I mean, if Florida's front court, is going to play like they played Saturday, and then just get enough out of those guards, they've got the potential to really be there. I don't know. I just, to me, it's as simple as this for Alabama. If Holloway, Philon, and Reitzel, and Amari Allen in there too, collectively play at a very high level, this team has a chance to go to the second weekend, maybe even a little bit beyond that. If those 4 guys are healthy together and playing at a high level, that did not happen in Gainesville. Again, Aiden was good for the most part. Philon was pretty much MIA until the game was totally out of reach. And you didn't get the Reitzel game that you got from him against Mizzou, for sure.
Yeah. Mallette, Amari Allen.
Yeah. I mean, Amari Allen's legit.
There's no doubt.
Amari Allen is a pro. Houston Mallette, I love the effort and the energy he brings, but from the moment he stepped on the floor Saturday, it felt like it was moving too fast for him, or he was moving too fast, because he wasn't good from the time he stepped on the floor. And with Amari Allen still not 100%, you knew even if Amari did go, which he did against Florida, Mallette was going to have to give you at least 5+ rebounds, some things that didn't necessarily entail scoring. But as bad as they were at the other spots, he needed to score too, and he really wasn't able to do that. So again, collectively, not good. So it's easy to look at the sort of sample size that Bediako's been a part of this thing, but I don't think it's been a Bediako problem. I don't think they have a dynamics issue. I don't see that. I don't see a disconnect now that they've injected him into that lineup or on that roster. They just have holes, and they've had holes, and that's why he's there. I mean, if you saw him against Arizona's size early in the season when they got rolled, if you saw them against Gonzaga and Gonzaga size early in the season, and they got pretty well handled. Yeah, this is why they are doing what they're doing.
All right. Since you bring that up, Travis, who's better, Arizona or Florida?
Arizona. Right now, like I said, I still think Arizona's the best team because I think they're more complete. I still wonder about Florida's guards when the moments get big. And understanding Hawk, Condon, Chinaloo, that front court can go with anybody, if not beyond anybody. But Zona's not weak in the front court. They can answer, and then they have a point guard in Jaden Bradley who is perfect for the way they play. He wasn't a good fit at Alabama. He wasn't a freeze and threes kind of guy. He is more of a floor general, a runner of a team, and he's physical, and he will not back up, when the crap show hits, I don't think. So, he's not going to be dictated to in terms of what Arizona does, I don't think. And so I would still go Zona, but if Florida plays like they did Saturday, again, they're a Final Four team. What's crazy is that they're 19th in the polls going into that game. and they had just lost the previous Saturday on their home court to Auburn. So, they have deficiencies too, but if that backcourt can play just a decent level of basketball, they've still got a great shot.
Travis, do you get the sense if the ruling Friday goes Bediako's way that it's going to open up the floodgates and schools all over the country are going to try to do the same thing Nate Oates did?
It could. I mean, they were already doing it. I know we continue to kind of look at this Bediako thing as the Pandora box moment, but it was before. The reason why Alabama did it is because it had been done elsewhere. There had already been precedent. So I don't know. I don't know how many situations out there can, truly, mimic kind of some of these. But I know Charles is different in some ways too, based on, the contract he signed coming out of college. But to me, a pro's a pro. I mean, if you're playing G League, NBA, high level Europe ball, it's the same thing. I mean, we never should have gotten to this point to start with, but that's where we're at. So absolutely, I don't think Alabama's the last, regardless, even if he doesn't get it. I don't think Alabama's the last program or team that's going to try to go that route.
Alabama football, we've entered a dead period. There are some exceptions, and there'll be still a trickle, but the early part of January, February has been spent in roster management, talent acquisition for Kalen DeBoer. Khalifa Keith, a running back who's run for 129 yards in 3 years, is the latest commitment at Alabama. Not sure about that one, but it seems as though the majority of the hay is in the barn, so to speak, for Kalen DeBoer. Is he doing what's necessary to get this thing to the level that Bama fans expect it to be? Is there something missing there or not?
Yeah, I mean, it's late now in the roster building process for 2026. That wasn't the case previously when you still had the spring transfer portal window. But I think some of the moves you're seeing right now, like Keith, who has had minimal production at Tennessee and Appalachian State, those are just roster fortifying moves. You've got room. These aren't guys that are going to bite into your revenue sharing. And I say a just full scholarship guy now is basically what a preferred walk-on was a few years ago. If you're not having to invest additional dollars into a player, that's kind of what that sort of spot has become. So that's the way they're going to sign a couple of high school wide receivers tomorrow. I'm sure they don't have any additional money going to those guys. When you look at, their offer lists and, their rankings for whatever that's worth. So that's the way I view these late period high school signings. And look, if you get immediate impact out of any of those guys, great. But you said it, the hay is in the barn in terms of the people you have seriously papered. You've already done all that. What you're doing now is more developmental. What you're doing now is more along the lines of undrafted free agents in the NFL, 7th round picks in the NFL. That's for the most part what these kind of guys this late, including Keith. He's got size, but you got a guy with size in Daniel Hill. You already got a 240-pound back. But, as we've seen in previous years, there's been years where Alabama's been down to one scholarship back late in the season. So that's a position where if you can add depth, and maybe he's a hybrid type, he can give you something as like a fullback or some short yardage. Special teams is a part of that too. That's kind of a bonus.
I guess we're past the period of making changes on the coaching staff. We've had one with the offensive line coach. Do you anticipate any more, or is that done?
I'd never say never, and especially because there's really no limit to roster size, staff size anymore. So even as much as thinking that someone could be leaving, you could still add somebody to coaching staff. We're not in the 9 guys on the field era anymore, as we know. So no, I would think that you're probably at least close to done, but we'll see. And you've heard from Ryan Grubb lately. No indication there to think that he might be on the move. And I know that Chris Kapilovic was on the road recruiting just before his departure, but that's not unusual. But to hear Ryan Grubb talk about Cedarian Morgan and EJ Crowell and like he did on that report with WAKA, that sends to you or me the message that you think he's going to be back in that offensive coordinator role. And then running back, I think with Rob Gillespie coaching that group, I think it's a big year for him coming up. Big year for his room, and I think in part because of the things we heard recently from Grubb. Grubb didn't hesitate to say EJ Crowell is going to be on the field, and he's going to be on the field soon.
Yeah.
So that goes to Rob and that staff to get him ready, because they obviously needed to upgrade at running back, whether it was Hollywood Smothers or Crowell or AK Deer taking a big step. And that's just got to happen. But I think it is telling that after hearing all season, well, it's not just the offensive line. It's not just the offensive line. What's the area where they moved on from someone? The offensive line.
Yeah.
I don't know about AKD or anything like that, but if there's anybody coming out of high school at running back who is college ready, it's Crowell. Holy smokes, him in the state championship game. I mean, that guy could be the answer. I mean, you don't want to work him in and everything. That guy could be the guy right now, in my estimation. And
it's always hard, with high school players coming into a place like Alabama or the P4 level to just feel totally certain that they're going to be that impactful. But yeah, you do watch him, and first of all, what I see is it really matters to him. He's not just playing football because he's good at football. I like the way, he doesn't settle for things. He finishes runs. He's instinctive. So it's really just going to come down to off the ball, pass protection, catching the football, things like that. And what I've seen tells me that he is pretty much high level engagement on a play-by-play basis. And so, those are some things where maybe you can expedite the process. And that's really what player development's all about now, because there's no guarantee you're going to have these guys after a season.
Yeah.
So you better, to Grubb's point, he better be on the field, because if he's not, you don't know if he's going to be around in a year.
You don't know if you're going to be around in a year.
Well, that's part of the urgency, no doubt.
Yeah.
All right. Travis Ryer on YouTube. I love the new offering on your YouTube channel, the cart golf. Although it seems difficult, it seems like it's a public relations challenge. You're talking a little waste management coming up after Justin Rose wins at Torrey Pines. How's that going?
Yeah, we've had a couple of shows. It's fun. My buddy Casey Smith and myself, we've jumped on and had some fun discussions about various avenues of golf, but certainly a lot of PGA Tour, some live, the different tours. I've known Casey a long time. He's a former college golf coach, worked with Callaway for years. So he has a very unique perspective and is still very much plugged in professional golf. So I always get some interesting stuff from Casey. And as much as anything, we both love golf, and we just have a lot of fun talking about it.
Yeah, I got a buddy of mine, and he and his son are heading out to the Waste Management this weekend. He's really looking forward to it. I said, make sure you throw a beer cup on 16 like that whole crowd seems to do.
Remember when the bucket list for father and son was Lambeau and Yankee Stadium and Fenway or Wrigley, and now it's let's go get hammered in Scottsdale.
Yeah,
everybody's doing it.
Throw a cup on the green.
Let's get arrested.
What are your thoughts about these live guys coming back to the PGA Tour?
Not surprising. The pathways are very interesting because of the difference in approach with the PGA Tour and say the DP World Tour.
Yep.
And the way that the DP World Tour is much more welcoming, it seems like, to guys from the live perspective. Although I think the PGA Tour still subsidizes a lot of that tour, so you would think there would be some uniformity there. Patrick Reed is obviously sort of the latest storyline beyond Brooks, and it was good to see Brooks back out there. I didn't think he was as much of a needle mover with fans as maybe ESPN and its coverage expansion would indicate, but it was still a good thing for the tour. I think it's something we'll continue to see. I think if the tour wants certain guys back, like we saw with that initial sort of exception that they came up with for 3 or 4 guys, then they'll be back on the PGA Tour. I think there's some guys like John Rahm who are going to have to make a decision that, look, they gave me $400 million to go over here. If I leave early, at best, I'm not getting $100 million of that $400 million. At worst, I might have to pay it back. So, there's different decisions, I think, to be made for different players. I mean, Bryson DeChambeau's in the greatest spot of them all.
Yeah.
He's in a contract year. And I mean, you would think, although it seems like Liv is taking more of a DG approach moving forward, kind of a Dollar General approach. They're going more after the younger guys, and maybe here's $10 million to come to Liv. If you're Michael Lasasso from Ole Miss here recently, and they're not going to throw the hundreds of millions, maybe as much. But Bryson could be the exception, because Bryson, he transcends competitive golf, and I say that loosely with Liv, obviously, but he has become such a presence in YouTube golf, and the financial potential that he has in that just exploding market. We'll see if it's a big picture staple, the YouTube golf, or if it's just more of a trend. But right now, he's in a great spot.
Yeah, he is. He's in a real good spot. Yeah. And I'm a big DG fan, Travis, the new modernized stores with the self-checkout.
Yeah, me
Love
too.
them. Yeah.
Me too. I
love them.
Absolutely. No doubt about that.
It's amazing all the different stuff you can pick up at a DG. Unreal.
Yeah. And a lot of them aren't $1. You notice that?
Yeah. Very few of them are, as a matter of fact. Let me get a cinnamon roll and some batteries.
Exactly.
Like it. Yeah. Well, again, Ryer on YouTube, not just kart golf, but so many other things, talking Thai, no sleep till, and all that. How do people get involved, Travis?
Yeah, just check us out right there on YouTube. The channel is Ryer on YouTube. Also, you can catch me on X at Travis Ryer, TravisReier.
Outstanding, Travis. We appreciate your time as always. Have a great week. We'll talk next Tuesday.
Thanks, guys.
You too, buddy. Thank you. Great to info and insight as always from Travis Ryer.
See,
whoa, wait. DG's getting rid of the no way. They're getting rid of that.
The two things that I would change, and my wife is a big Dollar General fan too. I like it fine.
Yeah.
Number one, you gotta have self-checkout, because it takes forever to get somebody's attention. Hey, ready to check out?
Yeah.
They're in the back stocking the birthday cards or whatever. And number two, if you got to use the restroom, it's demeaning to have to go up there and ask them for the key to the restroom, and they've got it attached to, like a ruler or a toilet seat or something like that. You got to, come on.
I have always wondered about this. And of course, the DGs with the self-checkout, I mean, they got your picture on the screen. So they're taking a picture of you while you're self-checking out. So it's not like they can't find who you are.
Well, and Plainsman Preston, we got a really nice Dollar General or two here in Troy. And I have gone self-checkout from there.
Sounds like you got a crime problem up there in North Alabama. Not all wonderful.
Say that.
Skipping down the meadow as it's been led to believe up there in the Rockies.
Well, I hate to take the hard line on this, but people are clamoring for us to take a break so we can get to the Phantom's Daily Dog. Do you mind? I mean, we'll take a break, and if you're ready, if you're okay with it, we may touch on the Phantom's Daily Dog when we return. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range, 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information.
It doesn't matter if you're running drills at the park, playing pickup on a Saturday, or sinking the final putt. When you compete with your friends with Michelob Ultra on the line, competition isn't that friendly. The trash talk, next level, and the stakes, oh, those are crystal clear. With only 95 calories and superior smooth taste, it's the ultimate trophy. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with our clinic and take advantage of our physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solutions service. Experience elevated physical therapy today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316. That's 239-9316.
All righty, we got about 26 minutes past the hour here on this Tuesday. Longshore McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy, in association with our good friends at Yellowhammer News. You can check us out at yellowhammernews.com. There's video content. There's also a write-up about the show each and every afternoon. Also check us out on Facebook, on YouTube, on X, on Instagram, on Spotify, on Apple Tunes. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate it. Tell your buddies and friends and associates to check us out. And whether you watch us live each and every weekday from 7 until 9, we're there for you at your convenience, on your schedule. You can check us out whenever on all of those platforms that I've mentioned.
Well, now that we've got a moment,
okay,
we do something every day on the program we call the Phantom's Daily Dog, and it's been highly popular.
Okay.
Some people enjoy it when the Phantom ends up, again, he's picking a dog every day. Every day.
Every day.
And, you know, it's not a favorite. It's, you know, it's not, hey, I think they can cover. It is an underdog that can cover. And if you want to go ahead and just haul off and win the game outright, that's fine too.
Sure.
It's not easy. I mean, it's even a little bit more difficult than picking a winner anyway. You got to pick a dog in this deal. So it's a little bit more difficult. And it's been so popular that I'm not sure whether some people are happier and more fulfilled when the daily dog misses. On the rare occasions when that happens, they're like, ha! But I think most of them are really more just amazed. How in the world did the Phantom know that? I mean, out of the great wide world of sports, as Slim Pickens once said in Blazing Saddles, how did he get that one right? Well, this is one of those days for that today.
Yeah, and I'll be the first to tell you, if the Phantom wasn't having as much success with the Daily Dog as he's had, it would not be very popular. So I know that going in. It's, what have you done for me lately?
Ooh, yeah.
What is that one win-loss record? Stuff like that. So we get it. We understand. And last night, Barry, there was a little game up in Elvis Presley's hometown.
Memphis, Tennessee.
Little
town on the Mississippi.
And they were hosting the Minnesota Timberwolves. Maybe not the most electric NBA game of the week or the night.
Wait a
There weren't a
minute.
lot last night.
Are you talking about Timberwolves, Grizzlies?
Yeah.
Wasn't must-watch television for the
FedEx
sporting
Four-
world?
Yeah, awesome.
All right.
It was on Peacock. Actually, it was on NBC, I believe. I'm channel surfing. I'm going, wow, really? So I watched a little bit of it, just to kind of get a gauge of where we might be. At one time, the Grizzlies had a 22-point lead. And I went, wow, look at this. Things got a little tight at the 4-minute mark, but I've never seen more NBA three-point shots attempted that did not go in. I went, oh, maybe there's a reason these two teams have records like they do. But
yes,
the final score ended up being 137-128. So somebody was filling it up at some point in time during the game.
Yeah, the total in that game was 231 and a half.
Oh.
It went way over the total. Like John said, somebody had to be hitting some shots.
Uh-huh.
Just weren't a lot of 3-point shots.
Or
But
I just saw a flurry of threes missed late in the game. I went, wow, you don't see that happen in NBA games very often. But anyway, look at that. The Memphis Grizzlies ended up with 137. The Minnesota Timberwolves ended up with 128. Memphis wins the game outright, and they were a 7.5-point dog.
I don't know if the Phantom ever feels guilty about it by saying, look, hey, man, I'm not the one who set that line, I mean, it was easy. I mean, it was obvious to me. It was candy from the baby time, but I didn't set the line. I just, take advantage of an opportunity when a blatant opportunity is just thrown into my lap. I said, thank you.
Got to take advantage of it. Like tonight.
Okay.
We have got a game tonight that is also a lot of similarities between the game tonight, Barry, and the game last night.
Well, I hope it's another cover then. Okay.
It is on NBC Peacock again tonight. An NBC doubleheader, back-to-back NBA action. I guess they must not have a very good primetime comedy lineup anymore. I mean, NBC used to dominate the comedy lineup. That was on Thursday nights, but be that as it may, NBC
Tuesday nights not so much.
7 p.m. tonight, Barry, where the Boston Celtics are traveling to the Dallas Mavericks. And I know what you're saying. Boston currently tied for third. Well, so they're in third place, same record as the New York Knicks, both 31-18.
Right.
Celtics have won 2 in a row.
The Mavericks are still trying to dig out of the stupid trade they made, sending the face of the franchise, Luka Doncic, to the Lakers for Anthony Davis. I mean, the GM got fired. Mark Cuban, the Mavericks owner, says, look, he said that was a stupid move. I wish they'd have asked me. And obviously the guys who made those decisions are no longer with us.
Yeah.
So they've not been good.
They haven't, but they got a really good teenage rookie who is lighting it up. Now, they have lost 4 in a row. That is a fact. And they're 19-30 in the probably 12th spot in the Western Conference of the NBA. But we're not letting that cloud our judgment here.
No, right.
7 p.m. NBC, kind of like last night. And look at this. Dallas is a 7.5-point home underdog.
With Cooper Flagg, who is doing his best to try to resurrect that franchise after the stupidity of the previous general manager. He hadn't had a lot of success, but he's sold a lot of tickets. Let's just say that.
Selling the tickets. Should be a nice home crowd tonight.
Good crowd.
Catching 7.5. Early week game. Boston's just kind of bebopping in there. We're going to grab the 7.5 and take the Mavericks tonight at home as the Phantoms daily dog. We're just hoping, Barry, they don't come out in those retro green uniforms. Maybe they will, since they're playing a team that does have green in their color scheme.
Yes.
I'm hoping they don't wear the old green unis from Gee Whiz like 35 years ago. But they hadn't asked me what I would like for them to wear tonight. I'm just making a suggestion.
So, that is the Phantoms' daily dog, the Mavericks, plus the 7.5 at home against the Boston Celtics.
There you have it.
Over
That's
here
simple.
on the chat line, I like it. I love all of it. Even John Dent saying, suggestion, take care of business before you go to Dollar General. To a big Dollar General is usually good when you're on the road. Man, you want something to drink or anything, the line's too long at the fast food thing, you can duck into Dollar General and, hey, can I borrow the key to the men's room? That's mostly what I do Dollar General for, is when you're on the road, because it's and sometimes that's what you have to do.
Barry, I don't think I've ever been in a position where I needed to use the men's room at a Dollar General. I'm going to keep that in mind, just in case. Where are the restrooms at a Dollar General?
They're right behind the cashier.
Oh, really?
Over on the right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, over on the right, and they're usually pretty nice, but they're all locked up tight.
There's a place that is amazing. There's a grocery store. Kind of in West Pensacola, near right there, the Alabama state line, near
Lillian on the other side. Yeah,
near that area on 98. It's called Greer's. It's a family-owned grocery store. Go in there.
It has, but I don't know who has had more business thrown their way from John Longshore, Philip Marshall and AuburnUndercover.com, or Greer's.
Yeah.
On the state line between Alabama and Florida,
because they've got a liquor store attached to that grocery store. I've been in there quite a bit. Very, very low prices, discounted prices, if you will, compared to what you could pay, what you have to pay for them in this state.
Okay, right.
Be that as it may, there is a restroom at this grocery store. There's a sign, it says restroom with an arrow pointing. And you actually, Barry, have to go through the flapping doors, and you walk in there, and there's usually a lot of bread racks lined up with fresh bread that has been delivered that morning, wrapped up. There's usually some stacks of soft drinks or beer or whatever that they're going to put out on the floor of the grocery store. And my point being, there's a lot of product that they have not put out into the store that you pass by on the way to this restroom.
They store the fresh loaves of bread near the bathrooms?
I don't know if it's storing it. It's in a staging area. How about that? Before they take it out into the grocery store floor, so to speak. So I did notice that it's always bread, because they're bringing bread in every day. I guess they just put the bread on the racks in the little carts that they pull it out there with, and they're wrapped in everything as they would be. It's not like right there next to the door, but you pass by it all the way, because you got to go down the hall, take a right, and then it's kind of there. And I've always wondered about that. I'm in the bowels of the grocery store, so to speak. In the back. Everybody else gets to go, Yeah. And again, there'll be some obscure beverage. I go, what is that stuff? Well, I've never seen that before. Maybe some wine or whatnot. But that's old school. Kind of reminds me of the old grocery stores when I was a kid. There was a grocery store chain in Montgomery called Big Bear. And there was one over there on Key Road. And they had the same type of setup. And maybe you've heard of this, maybe you're not. But if your feet were really, really dirty, almost to the point that the bottom of your feet were almost black. That they call that grocery store feet, because when you were little, you never wore shoes. You went barefooted everywhere.
That's true.
But if you went to the grocery store with your mom and you walked out of there, the bottoms of your feet would be like jet black. They were the grocery store floor was so nasty.
And of course, this conversation has generated some really nice advice on this one. Plainsman Preston, they're little creatures living in the DG men's room.
I've never been.
Home Depot restrooms are better. This is the voice of experience.
There again, where the
says, I love it. I have. They're very clean. And he says, of course, there's always Buc-ee's. And John Dent says it's a DG, not a porta potty. Here's the, of course, Chris the Member says, I've used Loxley, Robertsdale, and we're going through a business bathroom.
Where are the bathrooms at Home Depot? Huh. I've
That
never
one,
been
I
to
don't
one.
know. I think they're also in the front.
And
I don't
listen,
know.
you're hearing this from a guy that before I had my prostate surgery, I was looking for a bathroom just about everywhere I went.
Well, you'll always identify those for sure, but underrated bathrooms. And again, I'm one of those guys that when I go to a gas station to use, I travel a lot, and when you want to, I'll always buy something. I'll go in, buy something, just hey, just for the use of the bathroom or whatever. Underrated, and this was in the news recently. Waffle House.
Oh, yeah.
Waffle House bathrooms. Will we ever see this again? Gus Malzahn signing the menu at Waffle House.
Man.
And he says War Eagle on it.
Yeah. Let's see, he's got a
his
Coke.
retirement. He's going to eat at Waffle House.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another one that Bama fans absolutely loved. Oh, we don't talk about all. You're talking about Gus and Waffle House as though, he's a minority stockholder.
So let me get this straight here. He's got a to-go cup, which looks like a Coke, Diet Coke.
Yeah, probably.
Is he paying for his meal with a check? Is that a check on the table, or somebody leaves
That's
us
an
a check?
excellent question.
He's got his phone next to him. You don't see Longshore, which you would have immediately deleted.
Christine Brennan. There it is. Missed call. Christine Brennan.
And what's it? War Eagle? I don't know what it says after
It says
that.
War Eagle, Gus Malzahn.
Oh, is that a G?
He signs it right over the hamburger melt with the.
Matter of fact, this grocery store I just referenced, there's a Waffle House right next to it. I go to it quite a bit.
Waffle House is excellent. They've got very solid.
So here's the thing where you
bathrooms as
mentioned there's a couple of things that just clicked. I don't want to forget, so I'm gonna write it down.
Okay.
So you mentioned you go to men's room. We all do. I don't, Barry. I don't feel like I've got to buy something. And if the guy gives me a look or something like that, I go, "Hey man, I bought some gas from you here last week. I mean, give me a break." So I don't. That doesn't bother me a bit. But I do say this. I do think about our female viewers and female listeners. And if I walk into a men's room and it's not maybe kept up as nice and neatly as it should be, my first thought is, whew, wonder what that women's room looks like.
Yeah. Really.
Man, feeling bad for the ladies out there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
just saying.
Yeah.
So yesterday I had to go downtown. I knew I wasn't going to be in this place 2 minutes. I pull up and I'm in front of a parking meter. And I kind of look around. I look up and down the street and I'm thinking, I ain't paying no 50 cents for no parking meter.
I'm only going to be here 2 minutes.
I'm going to zip in and zip out like it's Czechoslovakia. And I thought to myself, would Barry do this? I got to think Barry would have put the 50 cents in there, even though he wasn't going to be there but 2 minutes.
Yes. Because I don't have the vibe John does. The moment you hear the ding of the door opening at that thing, it's going to look like a cop convention around my car. They're going to be like, oh, this guy right here. They're going to chalk the back tire. They're going to put the tire lock on it. That's me. I'm not taking the chance. I got the peace of mind.
Man, Barry, this is from a guy that could not get his high school diploma until I paid him $64 for all the parking tickets I got at Jeff Davis for parking illegally.
Back in the day when John and I both worked downtown at a radio station that was in the Colonial Financial Center, the Commerce Center.
Is it still there?
I haven't been, but Longshore used to park out front all the time. Yeah. And I said, how do you keep from getting a ticket? He says, oh, I don't. And and they showed me one time, and it looked like the World Book Encyclopedia. I mean, he had a stack that was like March.
Oh, heck,
he had a stack that was April and all.
Oh,
I'm thinking, how in the world do you get, And one day they had amnesty from parking tickets. And I'm thinking, man, you need to go down there and do that. You talk about saving hundreds of dollars.
Oh,
and
yeah.
John says, man, there's probably going to be a line there. I know. It was unbelievable. John was
I
like,
will say this, Barry. I was to the point, if somebody was parked in my spot when I pulled up in the morning, I go, whoa. Don't you know this is my spot? What are you doing parking here?
Yeah,
and that would happen every now and then.
Yeah.
It'd drive me crazy. People would do it just to tick me off. But my philosophy was, Barry, it costs like $40 a month to park in our parking
which
deck downtown.
whenever I had to commute every day when I worked downtown instead of at a remote location, I paid the $40. John was like,
I'm thinking that's $480 a year. I'll take my chances on these parking tickets. I ain't paying for $40 to park every month. And I'll take and I would go, Barry, I would go months without getting a parking ticket. And then I'd get one. I go, well, whatever. Well, I'm still ahead of the game. So what? Now, I didn't pay it. Hope people down at the city didn't hear me say that.
Yeah, Plainsman Preston says, how do you get a parking ticket at Jeff Davis when you park in the Mormon church?
See, they wouldn't let us do that. They stopped the Mormon church deal.
Yeah.
And I would just hop up over the curb and park on the grass. And that was, sometimes they let me do it, sometimes they didn't. But Barry, this is back at Jeff Davis in the 80s when I could go hunting in the morning before school. A bunch of our buddies would do that.
You would swing by your house to drop off your hunting rifle.
It was in the gun rack in my truck, visibly seen in the parking lot. We all did it. Didn't think twice about it. But that was 45 years ago. You could do stuff like that.
Yeah. Well,
can't do it. But they gave away those tickets. They were $2 a pop. I had 32 tickets, $64. I had to scrape together to get my diploma.
Done. Hey,
yeah,
get
they
me out
were
of
tough.
here.
That guy was looking for me too. His name was Officer Eckerman. Man, he was looking for me.
I always wondered, I'm thinking, back whenever we did the afternoon show together, I'm thinking, I was always prepared for that show that an hour in, I was going to have to finish the show because they were going to take Longshore away in handcuffs because of unpaid parking.
Well, how many times were we doing a show and like the guy down there in the news talk studio would have some, like the sheriff or somebody from the police department down that he'd be interviewing, and he'd walk by our window and he'd look in there and go, uh-oh, they finally got me. Here they are.
Looking over your shoulder all the time like you're a criminal on the loose, Well, when we come back, it's the Phantom, it's the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel to close out an energetic Tuesday show.
Certainly.
It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
The Start Something New sales event is on at Stivers, Alabama's #1 CDJR dealer. Grand Cherokees under 30 grand or up to 15 grand off. Wranglers 12 grand off and Gladiators 16 grand off. Only at Stivers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. The Start Something New sales event is on at Stivers, Alabama's #1 CDJR dealer. New Rams 19 grand off or 0% for 6 years, and heavy duties 12 grand off. Backed by Ram's 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Only at Stivers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram.
Hey, where's the beer guy? Bud Light here? You get a Bud Light? Bud Light? I'm here, Bud Light. Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light where? Bud Light here? Oh, Bud Light there. I missed that because of you. You did not miss that play because of me. Tough to stop talking this way? Yeah. It's actually kind of fun. Hey, I got your Bud Light. Oh, nice. Never mind. Anything for the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light. What'd I miss? I have no idea.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. About 12 minutes to go here on this edition of Longshore and McKnight. The Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel is in the green room loosening up. Always a lot of good topics here. We don't know what these are. This is the first look we have had of the topics for today. That's what makes it so fun.
Feeling better, didn't sign up, Austin. I remember him. Shaky start. What could this be? All brought to you by Victoryland 777 Casino. Exit 22 off I-85, Shorter, Alabama, where you can be a winner too. The Wizard gets us started.
Wizard, let's see what we got here.
Alcaraz. Yep. That's a passing of the torch. Novak Djokovic was pretty much done anyway, but Alcaraz wins the Australian Open over Djokovic in 4 sets, and he has won all 4 of the majors by the age of 22. Nobody's ever done that more quickly than Carlos Alcaraz has done in men's tennis. I heard when you were in the basement, Warren Matthews said he had folks, I need Gurn Jr. to confirm this, that went down to Melbourne or Sydney or wherever it is and watched the Australian.
Yes, that is true.
Dude,
Matter of fact, I believe that's the second time that has happened. Have made the tour, made the circuit, every tennis major, Australian Open, French Open, Wimbledon, and the U.S. Open.
Australian, that's like 17 hours.
That's a long way, but I believe this is the second time that that they have made that to see the Australian Open.
Yep.
You know, the thing I love about watching it on TV, Barry, if you look closely, you can tell it's summer in Australia just by the way it looks, just the way the brightness of the sun, and just it's got that summer vibe to it. You're looking here and it's kind of wet and cold, and down there, man, it's the middle of summer. And they were doing it. And I've always thought, Chris Fowler does the national championship football game, and then he flies to Australia the next day because he does the Australian Open. He's been doing it for years.
Talk about the jet lag, and he does a good job in that. I'll never forget when I was a student in Gainesville, a girl that I knew, a good friend of mine, she was on the swim team. She later swam in the Olympics. And she was Australian, used to, love spending time just listening to her accent. And she was in Gainesville in the fall semester and in the winter semester, quarters back then, during the swim season. And then she'd go back down to Australia. And she was in Australia. Anyway, what it was she was in Australia, and when it was summer in January and February down there, and then she was back in Gainesville for April, May, June, July, and all that. So she had like 2 years where she never went through a winter. It was great. I got to figure out how to do that. So yeah.
Well, there are no DGs in Australia. No way. Got to be kidding me.
There are no snakes in Ireland either. All right,
or in Hawaii. No snakes in Hawaii either. All right.
Top dogs with a DAWGS.
I think number 1 running back in the 2027 class. Is that it?
Oh, the Westminster. You talk about ratings.
Wow.
I like watching that. My wife, we like,
Barry, don't tell me the Westminster Dog Show outrated the Auburn, Florida game.
It outrates everything. Go back up one. Watch it. Now, these dogs, one more up, Warren.
Yeah, right there.
That's a ridiculous dog.
Yeah,
that's
ridiculous.
That ain't a real dog.
No.
That dog's ashamed of itself. That ain't a real dog. That's a daggum Wookiee. I'm looking at those, and my wife loves it, and women love the Westminster Dog Show. I'm looking at that thinking, that's not a real dog. Give me a dog that's out there rolling around in something dead in the backyard that'll go chase a tennis ball and that's not a dog.
Oh,
yeah, that's
a lot of upkeep. Is what I say. That is a lot of upkeep.
Give me a mutt.
Yeah.
All right. Back at it. Here we go.
All right, let's spin away, see what we got. 4 more to go.
4 more. Feeling better, Lewis.
Let's do it.
Good, Billy Ray. Feeling better.
Good.
Oh, yeah. He's been at this. He's had a shoulder injury.
Yep.
He asked about it, his recovery. He says, I'm feeling good. I'll be just fine. He was a little bit under the weather the other day, and Didn't have a lot of practice, but you know who's asking those questions?
Oh,
Sharps.
Sharps. That's right. Hey, how's that shoulder doing?
What are you hearing about the shoulder? How did it look? I don't know how it happens because especially the Super Bowl, Super Bowl, John. I mean, they got that thing locked up tighter than a drum.
Sure
but
they do.
Still, the wise guys know.
They're going to know.
They know.
They're going to know. Hey, very quickly before we spin the wheel again, it rained in the 2007 Super Bowl, February the 4th, 07, Colts, Bears. Prince was the halftime show, and it rained in that Super Bowl.
The best halftime show ever was Prince.
It was good.
The best. I forgot about the rain.
Yeah, that's what I'm told. I got that via the River Region Straw VIP text line.
Who was the Bears quarterback in 07? That's a good one. Was it Rex Grossman?
I don't know. That was Peyton Manning for the Colts, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Who also won a Super Bowl with the Broncos.
I lost to the Saints in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, threw a stupid interception to Tracy Porter.
How about that onside kick to start the second half? Wow.
Shaky
start. Yeah.
All right. What is
Alabama, Florida State last year? No.
Whoa. They had an earthquake yesterday in the Bay Area? 4.2 magnitude?
Really?
I don't know. 4.2 sounds
How
like.
come we didn't hear about that?
San Ramon, California. From Oakland to San Francisco, all the way down to Santa Clara. They could feel it down there.
Feel it.
Nope. I ain't doing it.
Barry, I guess you just answered the question I was about to ask you. Have you ever felt an earthquake?
I have not. I
felt one in Vegas. I was out there with my oldest child. She wanted to go. I said, okay, I'll take you to Vegas. She wanted to go when she was 21. I think we made it when she was 23, I believe. But anyway, we were having dinner. And it's like time stood still. I mean, I thought when I first felt it, I didn't feel like I was having a heart attack, but something just felt different inside of me. Whoa, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And it lasted, 5 seconds or so, and everybody got quiet. And I could see some of the chandelier moving back and forth. And as soon as it was over, everybody started talking again like it was no big deal.
No, that is a big deal. That is your boy would not handle that real well.
And now, I don't know if it was like a tremor from one that had actually happened in LA. It was in California where this earthquake happened. We felt it all the way to Vegas.
Did you not feel the earth move on November 30th, 2013 at Jordan-Hare Stadium on the sidelines when Adam Griffith's desperation field goal at the end of regulation fell short?
I felt something else.
Davis ran right,
but it wasn't that.
Was that not an earthquake?
No, it was
did
another
the earth not move? Did the earth move when some of those big hippie ladies tried to vault over the fence of the hedge and didn't do that?
I was laughing at that, but there again, it's a sensation I had never felt before in my life. And if it ever happens again, I'll know what it is because I'll remember it. But it was kind of weird. I'm kind of glad to say I've actually felt an earthquake before in my life. Don't want to do it again, but I have been there. All right, 2 more to go. Let's see what we got here. Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel. You can be a winner too. Open 24/7, 365 Victoryland.
Big promotion coming up this month.
You better believe it. Huge promotion. We're going to be telling you all about it.
All right. Bryson DeChambeau, who's going back to the PGA Tour, he kind of let the cat out of the bag about some of the big plans they've got for the Live 2. Live 2, what are they? They play 54?
Yeah.
In the Live, they're gonna start going to 72 for their tournaments.
That wasn't part of the plan.
Yeah, he says, look, I've got a contract. My contract says I play 54 holes a weekend. Now he said, we didn't sign up to play for 72.
Barry, it's similar to when the Suits walked into us one day and said, hey, we want you guys to go to 4 hours a day. We're signed up to go 3.
Yeah.
We ain't going 4.
We'd be willing to negotiate for 4.
Yeah, sure.
We ain't doing it for free. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll go shot down real.
We'll go. I tell you what, we'll go 4 when you put us on FM. That ended that conversation right there.
FM.
Still haven't gotten over that, Barry. I know people say you got to let it go. Just let it go. Can't let it go.
Can't let it go.
All right, one more to go. Let's see what we got here. Spin away.
I know this guy. I remember this guy. Played at Purdue, played at Florida.
All right, let's see what we got.
He's had nothing to do.
Oh, look at this
never
kid.
mind. Different guy. This is not the former Florida quarterback, Austin Appleby.
Wait a minute. Look at this.
Man, we're Australia heavy here on the program
Yeah.
today. All right, this kid, let's take a look at him. Austin Appleby, 13 years old, was swept out to sea with his mother and two siblings.
Man, that's scary.
Swam 2.5 miles to shore for help in rough conditions. They were kayaking and paddleboarding.
Man,
they got swept away. That kid on the right, Austin Appleby.
Is he related to Stuart Appleby?
I don't know if he's related to the restaurant chain.
No, true.
He said, "All right, I had to swim that way without a life jacket, 2 hours. He made it. And he said, when I got to the beach, then I had to run another 2 kilometers to find a phone."
Sheesh. How about this kid? Good for him.
That guy. I want
Don't
him
they have a
on
lot of
my
sharks
side,
in the
man.
water down there in Australia? Man,
Oh, heck yeah. And
dangerous.
Australia's got a lot of, they got these snakes and
Man,
crazy
dangerous.
spiders. That kid made it through. Big shout out. Different Austin Appleby from what I thought. Well, Australians are built differently, man.
They are. Different folks.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks again to Brian Matthews, AuburnSports.com, Travis Ryer on YouTube for joining us today. Barry, tomorrow, Wednesday, and got another good lineup of guests.
Yeah, we're looking forward to visiting with them. Our guy CJ Duncan is going to spend some time with us. Maybe a little money line magician, depending on
probably so.
his work. We'll get that going on. So for our friends Travis Ryer and Brian Matthews and Gurn Jr., our producer, he's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.